Hello, it's Neil here from the Music Centre, Winchester University Music Centre. It's part of Inspiration Week. Delighted to have Josh Robinson joining me shortly ahead of, oh, here he is, that nice smooth entrance there. That was good. I enjoyed that. Nice fade in. Ahead of his workshop tomorrow morning, we're talking and working with our students all about vocal health and looking after your voice. How are you doing, Josh?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, thank you. Thanks for asking.
Good.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. How is your voice feeling today? How are you feeling vocally?
Yeah, it's okay actually. I've done some teaching already today.
Okay.
I'm feeling okay.
What kind of teaching were you doing today?
I was doing one-to-one for a music service, so lots of one-to-one pupils, online sessions.
Okay. That must be a bit odd. Is it odd? Like, how do you find the virtual thing? Obviously, it means no traveling. That's great. You can work in one room. But I know you're quite hands-on as well. Like, as a teacher, you like to kind of get, to feel what people's bodies are doing and stuff to help them grasp what you're talking about. So how have you found that?
Yeah, it's been an interesting new way of learning. It's much easier when it's one-to-one, but when you've got group sessions, it can be quite tricky because you have to have people muted and then unmute themselves one by one. Otherwise, it's just a mess.
Right. Okay. So you've been doing group singing lessons as well as one-to-ones, all part of the music.
Yeah, group singing lessons and running choirs online as well, which has been,
of course,
great fun.
That's with Free the Voice. That's your and encore choirs.
Yeah, that's the one.
And so because you've put out a couple of really fantastic original tracks for encore choirs. The first one I was delighted to be involved in, and the second one you had members of our String Gems group involved, as well as various other alumni and singers involved. Tell me a bit about those. How did they come about? What was the deal, and how has the response been for the second one?
Well, it was really interesting because I've never really taken a stab at trying to write before, so it was completely new to me, and I had to really sit down. And I know you were talking to a couple of people the other day. I think it was Will Todd actually. You were saying about how to do that. Do you do it when you're under pressure, or do you do it? And actually, yeah, I felt that because I gave myself a deadline, I had to work to it, and actually that is easier. Because if I didn't have a deadline like I did with the second one, you would really put it off. But it's bringing those new ideas and getting inspiration from people. But it was all about, with the choir, we can't hear one another. It's great to be able to see everyone and they can have a chat. But once we start singing, everyone is on mute. So I have no idea what they sound like and they can't hear it. So it is the best way of actually being able to bring people together, so they can hear, what it would sound like. And it was all for charity. So it was great fun and nice to be able to try and write something, and hopefully they sounded okay.
Yeah, I mean, they do. They're really, really nice songs. And so the second one, did you write all the words as well as as the music? Is it fully Josh Robinson, or did you have collaborators on the creation?
It was a bit of a collaboration. So the words for the second one, it was all about what music means to us, how it's got so many elements to music. It can be a spiritual thing, but it doesn't matter where we are in the world. Music can bring people together. It lifts people up. So I asked members of the choir, what does music mean to you? What does singing mean to you? What does choir mean to you? And I got all sorts of different words, and I took inspiration from people's different sentences, paragraphs, and then I strung it and put it all together. And then I did have a bit of help from my friend Joe Peel as well, who did all the mixing and mastering for it. Him and I had a chat and said, this sounds better. So it was a collaboration, but I sort of had the final say.
Fantastic. And where do people go to find those? So that second one, that's called Singers One, is that right? Singers One, or did I get that? That's the Singers One, yeah. So where can we go to find those?
Yeah, there's a couple of ways you can do it. I've got a page on Facebook for Encore Choirs. You can just go to the videos there and they'll be there, or hop onto YouTube and just type in Encore Choirs, and I think the top two songs do come up there. So the first one, Let Love, which you were
part of,
part of, which was great. I love that. it was great. And then the other one's there as well, Singers One, so you can have a look there.
Nice. Encore choirs. Okay, I'm going to find that and stick it on this video when we finished. Okay, so when I first met you, Josh, you were just finishing your degree with us at the university as in vocal health, vocal studies. And since then, it's been really great to see how you've kind of formed that into a career. You started Encore Choirs, you started Free the Voice, you're developing your singing practice. And one thing that our students have always really appreciated with the sessions and the teaching you've done is your ability to connect with them about their vocal health. There's there's so many warm-ups on YouTube and whatever, and you can do all of that kind of stuff, and you can learn rounds and something. But there's something about the way you kind of deliver this work which makes people feel like they have a handle on the vocal health of themselves and then other people's vocal health. Like, what do you think? What is it that do you think that you bring yourself and with Free the Voice that kind of enables that, especially for our students?
I mean, the thing to remember is everyone is on their own individual journey. And, for instance, we as teachers, Neil, we have a completely different story to those who are students who might be singing in a choir. So that there's so many different stories. And I love that, because it means that every person is different and everyone has got a different need. So it's really fun to try and find different approaches to be suitable for the person who's in front of you. But I particularly love working with university students because, well, also they're more my age, but because I've not long come out of university, a few years back now, and so I really am able to engage with that. They're at that stage, I think, university students, where they're really finding their own feet, and they're really engaged in those topics. They really love, how can I get better? How can I understand my voice? So that's what drives me.
Yeah, that's nice. And it, like what you're saying there is, so you're kind of empowering, you kind of an ability to empower them to not just look after themselves on their own journey, but because of the way you deliver it, and you deliver it in such a kind of diverse way with so many different things that are all related around the same topic, they're able then to have confidence to help other people, and especially those who lead choirs on their own right, to pass that information on. I guess that must be quite, I mean, I certainly find that gratifying when I've taught a group something and then it comes back around and you see people doing the things that you were teaching them so well. How's that for you?
I love that. Yeah, I have seen that a couple of times, particularly at Winchester, with some of the exercises that I've been doing, and a couple of your alumni members now who I think are still running Resonance, who have still messaged me and said, "Oh, I'm using this," and it's and it was absolutely fine. I love it. I love that people can use those exercises.
That's fantastic. Because the things that work don't ever go out of fashion, do they? If they work, you just you keep using them. And always reminds me, there was a workshop leader I knew, a guy called Dominic Harlan, and he would always use a version of Grand Old Duke of York for this workshop kid with like 6 and 7 year olds.
Yeah.
And I remember working with him and saying, "Why do you always do that one?" And he turned to me and says, "Because it works." Like, oh yeah, that's why we do these same things with the same groups. And when you, like I in my way and you in your way, you know deeply that these exercises work, so you're able to communicate them with a kind of authority, I guess, that comes from the knowledge and the experience.
Some of the exercises themselves are actually really not that interesting. Some of them are really boring. But it's how you approach that, and you can vary an exercise 100 different ways. You could use the same exercise but vary it, and that keeps it interesting and fresh for a choir, for singers, for speakers.
And certainly if you know the impact it will have and then you feel the impact, then that gives you the motivation, and then it's not boring anymore because it's serving a purpose and you can feel.
Exactly. Yeah. Not everyone notices straight away. They might get 3 months down the line and realize, oh, okay, that now I can hear a difference in the voice. That's the thing. It's we're working with lots of muscles and the whole body, so it does take time, and that you remind singers that particularly because singers are quite I find singers are quite,
Speaking for yourself. Yeah.
yeah, they want it to be there, they want it to be right first time, and you do have to remind people that, you know, just like a marathon sprinter, you know,
Sure.
it's never right first time. They have to
No.
train, and it's exactly the same for singers. It's
Yeah.
just it's a process.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it? That sport analogy with singing particularly is quite a good one, isn't it? The you know, Usain Bolt didn't get really fast overnight just because he had one training session. Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. Will Todd is watching. He says hi. Good to see you.
I will.
So there we go. Yeah. Okay. Well, so what plans have you got then for tomorrow? Because we're doing this 3:30 on Friday. And then 2 o'clock, not 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock tomorrow, we're doing the workshop. So what plans have you got for us?
So it's encompassing a lot of areas of both technique and vocal health together, because they're all part of one thing. And there are so many elements to vocal health. It's not just about, you know, drinking that right amount of water or whatever.
Your enormous bottle of water you carry around.
It's about, you know, what your mental well-being, your spiritual well-being, all those things that come into play, and having rest. So everything that we're doing tomorrow is going to have a practical element to it. So there's going to be some exercises. We're going to look at alignment and how that affects voice quality and sound. We're going to look at breath flow, how that keeps, you know, the voice under control and doesn't add too much pressure. We're going to look at different effort levels, how we can play with them. We're going to look at when we're tired, when we're feeling stressed, how can we change how we approach our voice use, because our voices change daily, don't they? You know, even as a teacher, we all still get tired. We still have moments where it's not perfect for us.
Yeah.
It's trying to find balance and managing that workload. So there's tons of stuff in there tomorrow that we're going to be looking at, as well as the sort of what to do if you're finding that your voice is becoming a problem. Where do you go next? When is a singing teacher not appropriate? How can you go on and get a referral if you need to, or what's the best approach in doing that when you've got a voice problem?
I mean, that all sounds absolutely wonderful, Josh. I'm really excited. I'm really pleased that you had some time to be part of our Inspiration Week. And yeah, totally thrilled for it, because I'm, you know, I love, and we all love bringing you in to kind of do these things. And I know you teach some of our students as well. You know, so yeah, that's really brilliant. Looking forward very much to tomorrow. Thanks for giving up some of your time.
Thank you.
What are you going to be doing for the rest of today?
I'm actually going to do, I've got a little exercise routine that I need to do, because I have to stay indoors at the moment, because lovely Track and Trace has told me to shield. So I'm going to do exercises.
Are you like star jumps and that kind of thing, or are you doing like handstand push-ups?
Well, we shall see. It just depends how I feel.
Yeah. Okay. So like a kind of a circuits thing or something. I did some this morning, so I'm feeling all right.
Cardio, so I've got some cardio exercises to follow.
It's difficult, isn't it, to try and, you know, in the lockdown, like especially when food is just there, and you know, we've all put on a few pounds. Unfortunately, I was telling someone earlier that I was a shirt I wore a year and a half when I did this amazing conducting gig at the Royal Albert Hall for Music for Youth. It was extraordinary, and I bought a really nice special shirt for it, and I tried putting it on the other day for one of these live streams. Didn't fit. Absolutely gutted. Yeah, I know. So I'm sure we all
always a tin of biscuits away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Look, Josh, thanks so much for giving up your time, and really looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you then.
Bye.
All right, bye.